Coming up on this week's edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
We'll tell you about some of the great things you can expect at the 2023 Cattle Industry Convention. Plus, a look at some of the latest products and services that are available for producers at the NCBA Trade Show.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kate Maher. Thanks for spending some time with us. As the voice of the cattle industry in Washington, D.C., the National Cattlemen's Beef Association makes a difference for all cattle producers. Every day, the staff in the Beltway works on a number of policy and regulatory issues that could impact your farm or ranch. And we've got an update on what's happening in our nation's capital in this week's Beltway Beef Spotlight.
My name is Sigrid Johannes. I'm the Associate Director for Government Affairs and Federal Lands at NCBA and the Public Lands Council. One of the things we're working on currently in Washington is the recent listing of the lesser prairie chicken. Fish and Wildlife came out with a rule right before Thanksgiving to list the species. And what they've done is split it into two distinct population segments: a northern DPS, which covers Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and a southern DPS, which covers New Mexico and Texas. That southern DPS is going to be listed as endangered, and that northern DPS is going to be listed as threatened. And for a threatened DPS, the other element of this that the service has done is write a 4D rule. 4D rules are intended to provide producers in agriculture and other industries with the flexibility and protection they need to keep operating their businesses and working and managing the land in a species habitat, in a species range. So they're supposed to provide that flexibility that allows folks to continue doing what they need to do out on the land. The problem is this particular 4D rule has completely missed the mark. Fish and Wildlife has created a rule, a framework, where essentially you will not qualify for that legal protection, that legal flexibility that you need unless you are following a grazing management plan that has been signed off by a third party. And that third party, in turn, has to be approved by the Fish and Wildlife Service. So obviously the million-dollar question is who is going to qualify as a third party to authorize these grazing management plans? We've already heard very concerning indications from Fish and Wildlife that they're not going to consider other government entities like NRCS as a third party. So if you already have a plan you've developed with NRCS or maybe with the BLM on federal lands, those are not going to count. We also know that they're not going to let ranchers sign off on their own plans. If you are an operator who has 20, 30, or 40 years of experience grazing on a particular patch of ground and you know that landscape really well, you still can't sign off on your own plan and qualify for this 4D protection. So this is hugely concerning to us, obviously, because this framework of third-party verifiers, you're going to have a huge flood of special interest groups, activist groups, environmental groups that flood in to fill that gap and apply to be third-party verifiers. And what we don't want is to put grazing authority and landscape management in the hands of groups that frankly don't have any interest in seeing cattle grazing out on the landscape. They don't want ranchers to be able to keep operating. So that's our first problem with this listing and the first item that we're attacking in this final rule. The other issue here is the underlying premise itself. We know for a fact this species has been studied for years, for decades at this point, and we know that the lesser prairie chicken tends to favor heterogeneous grazing acres. They like places that have a wide range of plant species, a lot of biodiversity, different plant heights, different levels of ground cover. They like that sort of patchy, scrubby rangeland where cattle producers are actively out there conserving, protecting, and managing those kinds of landscapes. That's the sort of land and ground that they manage for, because it's what works for their cattle as well. Where they don't tend to find lesser prairie chickens, cropland, places with really high power lines, large human structures like that. That's where the species doesn't work. So when you look at the science here and you look at what's working in terms of voluntary conservation, cattle ranchers don't have a problem with this species, and the species doesn't have a problem with cattle ranchers. It is able to coexist at every life stage with cattle and with fences and with the sort of things that you tend to find out on a ranch. you're not finding them in other areas that are sort of being turned over to other uses. So we fundamentally have a problem with Fish and Wildlife looking at a voluntary conservation situation that is working at great sort of personal investment and personal expense to these producers who have volunteered their resources to try and conserve this species and its habitat. And Fish and Wildlife is basically saying that's not working. We're going to impose this top-down approach. In our view, that almost never works. It certainly never works without unintended consequences. And we want the service to give cattle producers the flexibility they need to continue conserving this species in a way that works for the land and for their industry.
Do you want to stay on top of the decisions being made in DC that will impact your beef business? Just follow the Beltway Beef feed on Twitter for all the latest updates. It's also important to help support the work being done for you on Capitol Hill by becoming an NCBA member. It's easy to join and costs less than a pickup tank of diesel fuel. Just call 866-233-3872 or visit the website ncba.org. Each year, a huge crowd turns out for the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's the place for members of the beef industry to come together for networking, education, and fun. Here to talk more about the convention is Kristen Torres, NCBA's Executive Director of Meetings and Events. Kristen, thanks for being with us today. Tell us about what's coming up in New Orleans. It's going to be another great time, I know.
Yes, so we're so excited to be back in the Big Easy. New Orleans was a great convention the last time, and we're excited to bring producers back. It's the 125th anniversary of the convention, so we're going to be celebrating that a little bit. And we have a great lineup of speakers, an almost sold out trade show, so the floor is going to be jam-packed with everything a producer could need. And we have a whole lot of fun planned too.
So that's kind of a high level. So really, why is attending this event so important for anybody that's involved in the beef industry, no matter what segment you're involved in?
Yeah, not only does the event have everything a producer needs for their operation on the trade show floor, they can find it there. This is where policy is set and decisions are made for the cattle industry. And this is where they're getting updates on what's happening in Washington, D.C. and what's happening in their region. So it's so very important that producers take the time to come to New Orleans and find out what's happening in their industry.
There's also a lot of business that goes on. You mentioned the policy, but also business among the producers in terms of networking, and it's always so fun to watch our people interact. I always think so. Speaking of fun, entertainment is always top-notch at the conventions. You guys do such a great job in bringing so much fun to our producers to give them a little bit of an outlet for that. Tell us about what's on tap.
We're closing out the week with the Cowboy Concert Series. Everybody loves it when we do a concert, and this year we're going to be seeing Neil McCoy and Midland. And we choose those folks with the attendees in mind. So we have a wide age range that comes to the convention, and so we try to pick things that are going to be great for everyone, for kids all the way up to adults. And actually our leadership is involved in making some of those selections as well.
Well, it's always a big hit, and I think you guys hit the mark every single time. You mentioned a almost sold out trade show. For those unfamiliar with the trade show, give us a scope of the size of the trade show and maybe some of the really fun things that you can see there.
The trade show is unlike any other show that they'll be able to attend. We have over 350 exhibiting companies, over 7 acres of displays, everything from farm supplies to equipment to pharmaceuticals. We have a shopping area. And then the other thing that makes it really unique is that we do education on the trade show floor. So we build a demonstration arena where we do cattle handling sessions. There's a side-by-side squeeze chute comparison that folks can attend. And then we have 2 areas that are like classroom style sessions right there on the show floor. So they never even actually have to leave. And we also have a reception in there every day. So it's a little bit of fun happening in there as well.
So even if you just come to the trade show, you can really come away with a lot of information and hands-on learning.
Absolutely. And we offer networking in there as well. There's something for everybody right there in the trade show.
So just for folks that don't know, you have a whole team here that works on this event, and it's really pretty much year round. And even before we go to New Orleans, you're definitely on to the next one. Give us just a little bit of a behind the scenes look into the day of the life of you and your team in the months leading up to this event.
We have a team of 8 planners that we plan the convention each year, and then outside of that, we also plan about 30 to 40 small meetings that the association puts on. But we're actually contracted for the convention all the way through 2030 right now. And we just recently did a site visit to Orlando, which is where we're going in 2024, starting the planning for that. On site, folks will start seeing some of the marketing for 2024, and then we will sell booths for that trade show while we're in New Orleans. And we generally sell about 90% of the show floor there. So it's a constant planning effort.
Yeah, it's just fun, I think, for people to get a little behind-the-scenes look. Of course, we all see what you do here every day. Thank you so much to you and your team for putting together an event that is so valuable to so many in our industry. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Speaking of the NCBA Trade Show, we had a chance to ask some of the exhibitors why they come back year after year.
At Rotomix, we feel it's very important to exhibit at the NCBA. Number one, we want to connect with our current customers. We want to thank them for being a customer. We want them to stop by the booth, say hi, shake a hand. We also use the NCBA to release a new product or a new service that's related to maybe even a current product that a lot of our customers are currently using. So it gives us that stage, so to speak, to have the people get in front of us and come say hi and sit down and visit a little bit and talk about what we have to offer.
The reasons why we are here is because, one, we are industry supporters, so we want to make sure we're here for the industry to support everyone involved in the cattle business. It's also a great way for us to showcase our new products, features, and our promotions. It's a great place to network. It's great to socialize with the people that we do business with every day that we don't get to see every day, to meet people that you talk to on the phone. That's very valuable. It's great for us to learn about where the industry is going and how we can better help them.
Advanced Ag Products exhibits at NCBA because we know and have learned through metrics as well as just people talking that it is the trade show to be at. People are paying to come to this trade show to find the new, the better, the best. And that's why we exhibit here, because we know that we have a product that can help producers, and this is the place to be.
It doesn't matter if you're a first-timer or a long-time convention attendee. We want to see you next year in New Orleans. The 2023 convention runs from February 1st through the 3rd. Go to convention.ncba.org for all the details on this can't-miss event. Up next on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, you'll learn about some cutting-edge products and services that are making a big difference in the beef industry. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When you spot BRD in your cattle, that's your golden opportunity to target infection and its associated fever with a single dose of Resflor Gold, the industry standard dual therapy. To learn more, talk to your Merck Animal Health rep or your vet and see label at resflorgold.com. Animals intended for human consumption must not be slaughtered within 38 days of treatment. This product is not approved for use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, including dry dairy cows.
Did you know you can get reimbursed for attending cattle industry educational events? The Rancher Resilience Grant helps cattle producers attend valuable programs such as Cattlemen's College and Stockmanship and Stewardship training sessions. Local, state, and national events qualify for the grant, and successful applicants can receive money back to help cover registration fees and hotel expenses. To apply for the Rancher Resilience Grant, go to ncba.org and click on the Producer tab.
Get jazzed as the Cattle Industry Convention at NCBA Trade Show returns to New Orleans February 1st through 3rd, 2023. Experience the oldest and largest convention for the beef cattle business. Registered today by visiting convention.ncba.org.
Cattle performance begins with high-quality feed and nutritional products. And with me today is Brady Klatt with Purina Animal Nutrition to talk about that. Brady, thanks for coming today.
It's a pleasure.
You have a new program, Purina Plus, and I'd like to learn just a little bit more about that program.
So we launched Purina Plus last year, and we're really excited about the opportunities and the growth that we've had. In general, it's a value-added program that really gets its foundation and progress through our starter feeds. So when cattle come onto the program at the weaning time, they need to be fed one of our 3 starter feeds, Pre-Con Complete, AccuRation Starter Complete, or Stress Care Supplement. And from there, we back that up with some vaccine and deworming protocols that really aim to take a holistic approach to calf health.
So it sounds like there's a whole group of partners engaged in developing this more holistic solution. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, we've really worked with a bunch of industry leaders. Zoetis, Zinpro, Elanco, Merck, and BI have all been instrumental in helping us get the program off the ground from a requirement standpoint, but also supporting us along the way. They've been great to work with, and they really understand that there is a lot of value in all of their products getting adequate and appropriate research-proven nutrition at the beginning of the weaning phase. So they've been great partners to work with, and we're excited about the future with them.
Obviously, there are a number of protocol-driven, branded feeder calf programs. What makes Purina Plus different?
Well, I think that holistic approach that we take in terms of making sure that macronutrients and then some of our additives in terms of RX3 immune support technology that we have, as well as Zinpro performance minerals, really bring more to the program and amplify whatever else the producer's wanting to do, right? When we talk about Purina Plus, we position it as whatever fits your operation really can be amplified by the nutrition that we're driving and then the proven health protocols associated with it.
Obviously, your company has more than 100 years of history, but Purina Plus is still relatively in its infancy.
Yep.
What do you anticipate over the next year for this program?
So we're going to continue to expand some of the industry leaders that we're working with. We're excited to be working with IMI Global as a way for agent source verification, and we're really looking to expand it to more barns throughout the nation. So really bringing more opportunities for producers and working with more of those industry leaders to make it a great program for whatever their needs are.
Sounds like these feeder calves are going to be worth more as the year goes on. We've got to take care of them both from a health perspective and a nutrition perspective, and Purina Plus may be just the right ticket. Thanks for sharing that with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
Now, if you'd like more information on Purina Plus, visit purinamills.com.
Well, animal nutrition, without question, is one of the cornerstones of any successful cattle operation. And since 1927, Kent Feeds has been helping cattle producers across America design an animal nutrition program specifically for their operation. With us from Kent Feeds is Brandon Cook. And Brandon, thank you as always for being with us. Let's talk about some of the new products you folks have available for cattlemen and women out there.
Yeah, it's a really exciting year for Kent Nutrition Group, especially for the history, as you mentioned. We're coming into the marketplace this year with a brand new branding of our beef products, including Kent Quality Beef. And that's a lot of new products, from new fescue focused minerals down to really specific and targeted lick tubs to help the cows produce at an optimal level for those producers, as you mentioned.
Now, what am I hearing about this new Energy Last product line you guys are now offering?
Yeah, so Energy Last has been in the industry for several years, and we've just revamped that. And one of the most exciting things that I think is going to kind of shift the mindset on lick tubs, low moisture blocks, is a product called Energy Last 25 AN Energy. What that is it's 25% protein, but it's a high fat tub at over 8%. And that's coming from a steam flaked soybean. That's a patented process where we take a raw soybean, steam flake that retains the protein. It also retains the fat, which means you're going to provide a really nutritious product that's giving both energy and protein to that cow herd, particularly in those times of pre-breeding and high demands on nutrition.
Well, I think that's exactly what cattle producers are looking for, especially given everything going on with the industry right now. So what makes it so unique and maybe different from some of the other products out there? And then is it designed specifically for one type of operation versus another?
Sure, yeah. So it is a really complete product that's going to provide protein. It's also going to provide fat in a modified protected route. Some of that's going to be escape protein that's going to go straight as an energy source to that animal. It also has really nice components like organic trace minerals in the form of amino acid complexes, which are highly bioavailable for that cow herd. It also has a product called beta moss, which helps with gut integrity, immune support, and pathogen binding. So I really love it in a pre-calving, pre-breeding operation, but when you look at that nutrition profile from protein and energy, the performance of animals on that tub speaks for itself.
Well, if the animal isn't healthy, it's going to be hard to be profitable, right?
That's the truth. There's nothing closer to that right there. If that animal's not eating and healthy, then it's not going to be producing and putting profit back.
Hey, finally, Brandon, let's talk about Kent quality feed. We can't forget to mention that.
Exactly. Kent Quality Beef is our go-to-market this year of showing not just products. Again, we've been in the marketplace for over 90 years showing that we are the highest standard from a product portfolio. But when you look at our abilities in the field from our regional salespeople and nutritionists, we really are there to provide a service along with those products, as you mentioned, to tailor it to the operations so that each one with their individual needs can perform and succeed where they desire to be.
That sounds good, and I'm sure it's music to cattle producers' ears that they're getting a lot more than just a product from you folks at Kent Feeds. You're getting a program, and more importantly, you're getting a solid and lasting relationship. For all the details, you can visit them online at kentfeeds.com.
Still to come, we've got a preview of the beef industry's premier educational event, Cattlemen's College. That story when we come back.
At Merck Animal Health, we wake up each day seeking new innovations to keep your herd healthy. This is why we're proud to now include Allflex Livestock Intelligence in our portfolio of solutions. With Allflex, we can provide the tools to identify, monitor, and trace each animal within a herd. Its state-of-the-art offerings deliver real-time insights to help you optimize productivity. Merck Animal Health and Allflex Livestock Intelligence for our animals, our industry, and our future.
Sustainability is a critical issue in the beef industry today, and with me now is Dr. Phil Rinker of Elanco Animal Health to talk about some of the exciting products we have in the effort to improve beef industry sustainability. Dr. Rinker, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The environmental issue is a big issue in the beef cattle industry. Give me your perspective.
Yeah, it certainly is. And really, the things that beef producers are concerned about are the same things that almost every industry is concerned about, right? It comes down to land use and nutrient management, water use, and emissions at the end of the day.
And specifically, what is Elanco doing to help producers in this quest for improved sustainability?
Yeah, sure. So we actually have a lot of efforts underway. A few examples of things that we have going on right now is we have a partnership with Ducks Unlimited that we announced last year. We're actually helping reseed wetlands in Kansas. We actually just launched yesterday a new effort from Elanco related to sustainability. It's a sustainability engine for producers to help them calculate their environmental footprint.
Wow.
It's called UpLook, so look for information on that here at NCBA.
Okay.
And see what that's about. And then finally, we have our core business, which is really around the products and services that we offer and the innovation that Elanco continues to bring to market.
Absolutely. You also, I understand, have a new product coming to market called Exhibitor, and I'd be curious to learn more about what that product is and how that product can help us improve our overall sustainability and environmental footprint.
You bet. So Exhibitor really fits well into this discussion because it is labeled for the reduction of ammonia gas emissions per pound of live and hot carcass weight in beef, steers, and heifers. So it's a unique label that we have on this product. We're actually just now bringing it to market with full force this year, and we're pretty excited about it. It's labeled to be fed for the last 14 to 91 days before slaughter, and we're excited about the impact it could have on producers and their efforts around sustainability.
That's really exciting. Thank you all for your commitment to our industry and for your continual quest for innovative products to help us on our journey. We appreciate that.
Our pleasure. If you'd like more information on any of that stuff, you can certainly go to experiorbeef.com or an initiative that kind of wraps that all up from Elanco for producers is elancoleaveitbetter.com.
Outstanding. Thank you for your time, Dr. Rinker.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Rinker with Elanco Animal Health. And remember, experiorbeef.com for more information.
Cattlemen's College is always a highlight of the cattle industry convention, and there's no better place to go to get information that will help your business be more successful. Joining us now to talk more about Cattlemen's College is Michaela Klauser, Associate Director of Producer Education and Sustainability for NCBA. Michaela, thanks for joining us. Cattlemen's College always seems to have the A-list, best of the best experts in the industry. How do you all select speakers and topics for these sessions?
Yeah, so we always like to bring the latest and greatest for Cattlemen's College, and there's a couple different avenues that we do. We reach out to our own connections within the industry in academia and various experts, as well as a call for speakers. So if you are a past attendee or a producer that is attending Cattlemen's College, you're able to submit a speaker and a topic that you would like to hear, or if you yourself are a speaker, you're able to submit as well. So we're able to combine all this together. There's a committee that looks at everything, and then we pick what we think will add the most value to Cattlemen's College.
Yeah, and so with producers actually being able to submit ideas for speakers and or topics that would interest them or be useful to them, there really is something for everybody in every segment of the industry. I think maybe sometimes people think it's just geared towards one segment of the industry, but that's really not true, is it?
Absolutely, that's certainly not the case. We like to have such a wide range of topics and sessions for every producer, whether you're a small cow-calf producer to a large feeder. This year we're looking at having a couple feeder nutrition sessions, as well as a genetics track, where if you're a purebred producer, you can look at how you can advance your genetics.
Yeah, man, something for everybody. And those rooms are always so packed. It's so fun to see everybody just taking that information and putting it to use. If someone wants to attend Cattlemen's College, tell us how.
So you can go to the convention website and select Cattlemen's College there. You can also do the education package where it's Cattlemen's College and a convention registration. So that's the best bang for your buck. But certainly you can head to the convention website and register there.
And you all work so hard, Michaela, to bring the latest and greatest education to producers throughout the country, throughout the year. Talk about some of those efforts and some of those opportunities that folks have to participate throughout the year.
Absolutely. So we have our stockmanship and stewardship program. So there's a couple in-person events that are regionally focused throughout the year, as well as a virtual event. That is free for anyone and everyone to join. So we encourage folks to be on the lookout for our stockmanship and stewardship virtual event, as well as our Cattlemen's webinar series. So we typically have a webinar every month with various topics, risk management, nutrition, genetics. So there's always something for everyone going on here with the producer education team.
Yeah, there's always so many things to talk about. The webinar series is a great way for people to attend, and those are free, correct?
Yes, those are free.
What's really exciting to me, the in-person events, now there's ways to pay for that too. There's ways to get reimbursed if you're a producer wanting to attend those. Tell us about that.
Yes, we have this great program that we've been implementing now for a while. It's the Rancher Resilience Grant. So you can learn more about that at ncba.org. This is a great way for producers to apply to receive funds to attend cattle industry educational events. And that's more than just NCBA events. It's for events that are all throughout the industry. Folks can apply for reimbursement for registration and housing costs to help alleviate some of those costs for producers to attend. And it's a really great program, and we've had a lot of success with it. So I encourage everyone to go to ncba.org and look for a Rancher Resilience Grant underneath the producer tab.
Yeah, if you're not, you're just leaving money on the table, and you can come out and learn so much. Michaela, thanks for your time today. Thanks for all you do to help producers just stay on top of the latest information. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, Kate.
As Michaela just mentioned, there's a great opportunity for producer education and information from February 1st through the 3rd in New Orleans. In fact, the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show has a lot of educational opportunities, and that includes Cattlemen's College. All of these can help set your operation up for success. You can get all those details at the website convention.ncba.org. After the break, we've got a look at more products and technologies that can make beef production more efficient on your farm or ranch. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
For commercial cow-calf producers, crossbreeding with Galvey and Balancer is the smart, reliable, and profitable choice. Galvey and Balancer females offer maternal superiority through increased fertility, greater longevity, and more pounds of calf weaned per cow exposed. In the feed yard, Balancer cattle deliver increased performance, improved feed efficiency, and excellent carcass merit. Balancer adds the pounds, make the grade, and deliver the value. Galvey and Balancer, the smart, reliable, and profitable choice. Find out more at the website galvey.org.
It can be tough to keep up with all the issues that impact the beef cattle business. That's why NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen is dedicated to bringing you valuable news, information, and education. The goal is to give you the knowledge you need to make the best decisions for your operation. So if you're looking for in-depth coverage of the beef industry and the issues that matter to you, don't miss Cattlemen to Cattlemen, debuting every week on RFD TV and on YouTube.
Feed represents 60% of the cost of most beef cattle operations, so it's critically important to maximize our return on investment on every dollar invested in feed. And with me today is a man who knows just a little bit about that. Alan Lee is Director of Domestic Business with Biozyme Incorporated. Alan, thanks for spending some time with us on the show.
You bet. Thanks for having us.
Tell us just a little bit about some of your value-added products that you all offer at Biozyme.
You know, Kevin, as you know, since you've been to our facility, VitaFerm is one of our most popular product offerings, and a lot of the cattlemen obviously follow that brand and know the name. You know, what I would like to say is AmaFerm is one of our ingredients that we manufacture in St. Joe and incorporated into 99% of what we manufacture domestically here. And so that's certainly something that somewhat sets us apart, but a very valuable ingredient to do just what you talked about and help offset some of those feed costs. So, yeah, that's kind of.
What else would you say differentiates your company?
You know,
your products?
On the product side, we're a research-based company, Kevin,
yes.
As you well know, and spend a lot of time and energy on that. We've got a very successful R&D team, a global R&D team, I should say. And so we're continually trying to make ourselves better, as well as trying to find spots for products that fit a particular need in the industry.
And one of the things I've been impressed with your company for a long time, I mean, you make a real commitment to the industry. Tell us just a little bit about what you're doing to invest in the future of our industry.
You know, I love that word, in the future of our industry, Kevin, because we believe at Biozyme, our motto is care that comes full circle. Yeah. And that means a lot of different stuff to us. But when you say the future, you know, one of the things that a lot of people know about us at Biozyme is we spend a lot of time and energy and resources into the youth livestock sector. And so, you know, some years ago, 10 or 12 years ago, we started an initiative and decided we were going to support the Junior National Heifer Shows across many different breeds in our industry. And you know, that's evolved, and we've got some intern opportunities for some of the young people. It's even evolved past that in terms of some leadership opportunities for some kids and going to some different conferences that we assist with as a company, kind of our way to give back. But you know, that the care that comes full circle motto is not just for the young people in agriculture. We look at that also from a product standpoint and a company standpoint. And if we can continue to provide products and nutrition help to these animals, you know, we take care of them, it will come full circle and they're going to take care of us. So
I love that approach. It speaks to almost the sustainability initiatives we talk about as well, that
Absolutely.
Full circle approach. So what would you describe as the key to the organization's success? You have grown quite a lot over the last several years and very successful company. What would you attribute your success to?
That's really easy and fun for me, Kevin. Okay. So I'd say three different things. I'd say first and foremost, our people.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a great crew. We're really excited about that. We have relevant people in many different aspects of the industry, and that's a huge part of our success. Marketing has been a huge part of our success, and just getting the word out about what we have to offer and where we can help has been tremendous. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you know, all of the research we put behind our products is a huge factor, because when they get to the producer or end user, the products actually do what we tell them they're going to do. They perform and help bring, you know, healthier, high-performing animals to whatever their endpoint may be.
You bet. Care that comes full circle, as you say.
Absolutely.
Alan, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yes, indeed. And if you're interested in learning just a little bit more about Biozyme's full portfolio of products, we invite you to visit vitafirm.com.
You know, whether you're buying or selling, the agricultural real estate market right now is a hot commodity. And with us to talk more about the opportunities out there for farmers and ranchers, and certainly the many others, are Wayne Cockrell and Bernie Utridge from Icon Global. And Bernie, I want to start with you. Let's tell our folks a little bit more at home about your company.
Yeah, thanks, Russell. So Icon Global is a national and international high-end ranch sales company. That's what we cut our teeth on, and that's what we do.
It's an opportunity, as we mentioned, for a lot of folks who may be interested in taking advantage of what some of those real estate markets are doing and some of those properties out there. Wayne, and there are some dandies.
Absolutely, Russell. We have the historic Turkey Track Ranch located in the Panhandle of Texas. It's a jewel in the Panhandle. 2,200 animal unit, 80,000 acres under one fence. Just the diversity with wildlife, cattle, pivots, you know, it's got everything. We also have the Elkhart Ranch, which is about 2 hours north of here, 6,100 acres, 2,000 animal units, a complete different part of the world, different cattle operation. But both of those places are just they're iconic, you know, opportunities.
And of course, we're just mentioning a couple of your portfolio on this program.
Absolutely. Those are just two of what Icon Global has to offer right now.
You know, when it comes to buying and selling agricultural real estate, Bernie, of course, one of the big questions for folks is, how are we going to finance this stuff? And you have the answer, because you have a good and deep relationship with our friends at Capital Farm Credit.
I do, and I have, and they're integral to, and have been integral to doing a lot of the deals that we've become famous for. You know, the Wagner Ranch, for example, 535,000 acre ranch that we're involved in marketing around the world several years ago, all the way up to last year to Alcoa's Sandow Lakes Ranch, just outside of Rockdale near Austin, Texas, and a lot of deals in between. And, you know, we have a process and a system to what we sell and how we sell, and an approach to the market. And a part of that approach is utilizing Capital Farm Credit, and we use those guys right up front. Because first thing, you know, the golden rule of selling real estate is who's the money, where's the money, how's the money. And those guys, you know, they're the qualifier, right? That's the barrier of entry to selling the iconic ranches that we sell and representing the people that we represent around the world. So it all starts with the money, and so it all starts with Capital Farm Credit, and most of the deals end with Capital Farm Credit.
Well, our friends at Farm Credit are some of the most trusted in the business for sure. As we look at the rest of 2022, what's your outlook when it comes to the agricultural real estate market?
Oh, look, it's nothing but blue sky. You know, the market is strong. It's been strong, really strong for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's appreciating. You know, there's no end in sight for the types of properties that we do. I think the market will steady off in about a year or so, but you know, the world has changed, and the need and wants and the requirements of buying a ranch, it's not just about cows and horses anymore. It's about, you know, carbon credits, it's about solar energy, it's about wind energy, it's about tech. You know, so there's a lot more that goes into and comes out of rural ranch real estate than has traditionally met the eye, and that's a specialty, and that's what we do.
Absolutely, well said. Let's wrap things up with Wayne talking about Icon Global and your company's relationship with organizations like the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and certainly the countless others, and not just here in Texas.
Oh, we're absolutely honored to get to support the American cattleman, American rancher, the cattle industry, and so, you know, anytime we get an opportunity to support NCBA or cattle raisers, in our case being in Texas, we absolutely do. And I think one thing too is not only financially, but personally, my time, I serve on the board of directors with the Texas Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association. I'm the chairman of the Membership Development Committee, and I also serve on the Tax and Credit Committee with NCBA. So, we're involved. We're involved in the cattle industry. We have to have the ranchers and the environmental stewardship that they do. We want to be a part of that, and certainly we're honored to get to be a part of that.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a great job at it, and both of you and your company are very well rooted in the U.S. beef cattle industry. Again, for all the details, whether you're buying or selling and want to take advantage of this awesome red-hot agricultural real estate market, you can find more information about Icon Global online by visiting www.icon.global.
Cattle producers across the country work hard to care for their animals and their land. The USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service is there to help. Find out how you can work with NRCS to develop a conservation plan for your operation. Find possible funding resources for implementing conservation practices, or get free expert advice on ways to improve your farm or ranch. Visit the website nrcs.usda.gov today.
Get jazzed as the Cattle Industry Convention at NCBA Trade Show returns to New Orleans February 1st through 3rd, 2023. Experience the oldest and largest convention for the beef cattle business. Register today by visiting convention.ncba.org.
Silage is one of the best and most economical feed sources for livestock. And for the past 70 years, International Stock Foods has been helping producers maximize the quality of their feed. With me today is Neil Woods with ISF Global. Neil, thanks for joining us today.
How are you today, Kevin? Nice to see you.
Good to see you as well. Well, tell us just a little bit about some of the practical risks involved with feeding silage.
Well, some of the risks, Kevin, are always that you may not have a fully fermented product, and that you're growing some molds, yeast, and possibly toxins.
Right. And if I find some molds and toxins in my silage, or what might be some indicators that there could be some molds and toxins in my silage?
Well, you may see some different colored molds growing, and different reds for different types of molds. And so if you see any kind of thing that may be a warning sign or indicator to you, you probably want to have a test done to verify and see what kind of molds you're dealing with, fermentation problems, and what kind of toxin problems you may be running into.
What kind of dangers could that create in a herd?
Well, there's a lot of latent herd health indications that are subacute in the animal, where they may just not be doing as well as what they normally do, and they're just having a hard time doing well. You may see breed back problems, spontaneous abortions, just general lethargy in the herd, some inflammation maybe, and you may also notice some feed deficiencies and problems with gains.
I see. Now, you all have a product called SiloGuard, is that right? Tell us a little bit about that product.
That's correct, yes. The SiloGuard is it's not an inoculant, that's first and foremost. What it is a mixture of sulfite compounds that actually grabs or scavenges oxygen, and it takes away the oxygen in the silage pile as the treated silage is coming into the pile, and continues to grab oxygen and get it to the anaerobic state almost immediately. So by doing that, then you can ensure that you're going to get a great fermentation on the feed.
That's great. And what advice would you have for producers like myself that put up corn silage on a regular basis?
Well, first and foremost, that you pack tightly your silage. Right. That's the number one thing to making a quality silage. If you can't pack, I always say kind of all bets are off.
Right.
And then in addition to that, make sure you cover well with a quality tarp, maybe an oxygen barrier, and have some weights up there. And just generally do a good job of managing your silage pile.
Well, feed is certainly getting more expensive. We heard corn prices expected to continue to be fairly high in the next year, so it's critically important to get the absolute most out of every ton of silage we put up, and it sounds like you've got the product line up to do just that.
Yes, we do. You know, it's very important that we get the oxygen out of there, prevent that deleterious or bad mold and yeast growth that may have some effects on our animals, and do a better job of managing our feeds and feed costs.
Thank you so much for the time you spent today, Neil. We appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate your time.
For more information on SiloGuard and any of the other products of ISF Global, we invite you to go to isfglobal.com.
Getting to run a family farm is a dream come true. When you can grow good grass, there's opportunity to grow plenty of weeds. We want to use the tools that will help us do a better job. I would like the legacy to be that we took really good care of the land, and we truly did it as a passion, and we did our very best for the right reasons.
It is inevitable, like the rising and setting of the sun. Your gravel driveway will need maintenance. Drudgery? Never. Be the right person with the right tools doing the job the right way by watching How to Maintain a Gravel Drive Using a Box Blade with Hydraulic Scarifiers. Brought to you by tipsnotebook.com. When better how-to videos are made, we will make them.
Technology is changing how we manage our land and our livestock, and with me today is Ray Williams, the Director of Technical Operations for Gallagher, a company that prides itself in being the next generation in animal management. Ray, thanks for being with us today.
I'm glad to be here with you.
We're standing in front of these wireless load bars, and I'm just curious, how impactful do you think these are going to be to the industry? What's going to be the impact of these?
Well, one of the main pain points of load bars in general is the cords that come out of the load bars and are threaded up through the equipment and usually connected to the scale, of course, but they look delicious and they get eaten quite a bit by calves and others. And as well, the little varmints that come in and try to chew on the cords.
Right.
So by eliminating that now, of course, we have no cords. It transmits directly to a phone app or to the scale head, and just takes all that away and makes it really, really practical to have no cord. And so we're building that in a 22-inch bar that will be put in the alleyway.
Yep.
For those that do that, and then underneath the squeeze chute. So we have an 11,000 pound capacity bar that, we can put it on.
Single bar?
There's two bars under the squeeze chute.
Yeah.
So, but they hold 11,000 pound capacity. So we can put the biggest hydraulic chutes on top of this stuff.
Wow.
As well as any of the manual chutes that are out there.
That's fantastic. Let's talk about another issue in the industry, which is traceability, right? We talk about animal ID and traceability. Why is this such an important issue? And tell me about some of the products you have that can improve our animal traceability.
Well, traceability, being not required yet in the United States has been kind of a topic that both good and bad that have come to pass. But in our line of business, it's about economics and tying information about an animal directly to that number.
Right.
So for import-export, it's huge. It's a must. But in a normal operation, I can attach all of the animal data, the life data, the traits and activities, and all of that to that number. So I now can manage my herd much more efficiently by having that data collected at chute side and then fed into software that can help me look at the dynamics and all the metrics of our system.
And speaking of collecting that data at chute side, let's talk about some of the technology that you have relative to everything from the load bars to the scale heads and the hand readers. Tell me more about what Gallagher offers in that area.
We're looking at an ecosystem of equipment that all works together in concert. So we are gathering data with our scales, and we can enter traits and activities on the scale, and then our readers actually act independently of the scale sometimes, because I can walk around and do medications, or I'm calving, and I can put calving data into the reader. But then when I want to hook them together, they with a Bluetooth signal, they can come together and they can bring that EID right into the scale.
Yes.
but also being able to transfer that data simply into the cloud and have it available on all of my devices, so I can now, look at all of my metrics. I can make notes in the field and have it come right back to my system. So eventually, if I'm looking at all kinds of different metrics in my field and in my operation, I can drink a cup of coffee in the morning and look at what my animals are doing and have all these metrics at fingertip.
Very impressive, the ecosystem you're developing that really is seamless and allows us to both capture and utilize information in altogether new ways.
Yes, very much.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Glad to be here.
And if you'd like more information about the animal management systems offered by Gallagher, go to Gallagher.com.
This was a look at just a handful of the great companies you can find at the annual NCBA Trade Show. There's hundreds more that exhibit each year with products and services aimed at helping beef producers be more profitable. So start making your plans to attend. The Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show is coming to New Orleans, Louisiana, February 1st through the 3rd of 2023. Find out all the details at convention.ncba.org. We're wrapping up this week's show with legacy photos, but this time we're bringing you something a little bit different. These are shots from the last time the cattle industry was in New Orleans, back in 2019. Let's take a look. Have you attended a past cattle industry convention and snapped some great photos? We'd like to see those pictures and use them on an upcoming show. Message them to us on the Cattlemen to Cattlemen Facebook page or email them to c2c@beef.org. Send them our way and we may use them on a future episode. That wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for spending some of your time with us. And we'll see you again next week right here on RFD TV.